One thing I've observed here when I look at what is happening on social media, I can comfortably tell that in the Gusii region, there are fireworks there. Moto imewaka. Politics has started. Ladies and gentlemen, Simba Arati is putting up a very serious fight against Dr. Okengo Fred Matiang'i. Somehow Matiang'i has managed to manage Simba Arati by just avoiding him. But the way things are, Simba Arati is also focused on the strengths of Dr. Okengo Fred Matiang'i. And that's what I want to take you through here, where I want to show you that what exactly is happening in the Gusii region. But before I do so, if this is the first time you're watching my videos at Mukwa Times, take a second or two, subscribe, like, and comment, because that is the best support you can always give this channel. One thing Simba Arati was aware is this. If he chooses not to support Dr. Okengo Fred Matiang'i, then the fact means that Dr. Okengo Fred Matiang'i will have a candidate that will challenge him at the ballot in relation to the gubernatorial race where Simba Arati is the governor of Kisii County and is planning as well to get to the field for the same battle. So ladies and gentlemen, Simba Arati all along has been now working to ensure that at least he's able to counter Matiang'i's candidate. And the way things seem to be, it is that Ezekiel Machogu, the former CS to education, is likely to take on Simba Arati as the gubernatorial aspirant in the Gusii region. But one thing I want to tell you that in the Gusii region, ladies and gentlemen, clanism works a lot, more especially in Kisii County. I was listening to Simba Arati's team. They were trying to make it look like now they are managing the clan issue. Simba Arati comes from one of the biggest clans within the Gusii region. And Machogu comes from the clan with the biggest numbers. Biggest numbers than any other clan. So Simba Arati, of course, his running mate comes from that place. And is intending to divide those votes. But Simba Arati has started antagonizing now the moves by the clan where Ezekiel Machogu comes from. Where it is this way. Ongwae was the governor of Kisii County from a certain clan called Kitutu. And he went there, Kitutu actually went for the gubernatorial race for the first time and the second time, and he won successfully. So Simba Arati has started training his people to ask, when the Kitutu person was in charge, nobody was removing him. Now we've brought ours, that is now Simba Arati, you want to remove him. So already he's charging the people from his clan to come out in large numbers and vote for him. Secondly, he's also managing the Abagetutu, where Ongwae, Onyonka, and many others come from, basically to ensure that they don't buy the idea that they want to support Ezekiel Machogu, to allow Simba Arati to finish his term. That is a game Simba Arati is putting up to ensure at least he's able to manage Dr. Okengo Fred Matiang'i's numbers. The fact is, as Matiang'i was picking Ezekiel Machogu, he also had in mind that he needs numbers and the clans matter. Now, Ezekiel Machogu comes from where the numbers from his clan are about 150,000 votes. Simba Arati is about 105. So the best combination could be between Abagetutu, which has 124, plus that one of Ezekiel Machogu with 150, and eventually they'll have about almost 270,000 registered voters against Simba Arati. Simba Arati's option could either go pick from also the same region of Ezekiel Machogu or can decide to go somewhere else. But already he has started now the game to ensure at least he's somewhere. One thing I want to tell Dr. Okengo Fred Matiang'i's team is that this Simba Arati played a very serious game back in 2022 to win that gubernatorial race. So this time around, it also has to be approached carefully if they want to beat Simba Arati. If they don't, Simba Arati, who is a mobilizer, can be able to actually get numbers on board and win overwhelmingly. Though it will not be a shame, but the fact is Matiang'i needs that seat. Either he needs Simba Arati to come on board, or he needs to beat Simba Arati. So in a nutshell, when it comes to numbers, they need to prepare very, very well. Ladies and gentlemen, however, we also have to point it out that apart from Simba Arati being very strong, he also needs to know that as Simba, he is also weak now. Unless Onyonka joins him, then it means very well that Simba Arati is not strong as he was back in 2022. Onyonka really campaigned for Simba Arati. He brought the language that people needed to listen to and consider Simba Arati. And apart from Onyonka, ladies and gentlemen, Simba Arati also had Monda. Monda was equally very strong. He was a strong leader because he's the one actually kicked out Simon Nyachai in his race for the MP seat. So in a nutshell, we have to admit here that Simba Arati is also not so strong, but he has attributes that can make him a very strong leader against Dr. Okengo Fred Matiang'i's candidate, Ezekiel Machogu. But for those who come from the Gusii region, you can engage me. What do you think? Another way that Simba Arati is putting up war to Dr. Kengo Fred Matiang'i, it's through the UPA leaders. We all know that Matiang'i made the UDA party and gave it to Nyaribo to run it. Right now, as you speak, you can't believe the entire leadership of the UPA party leadership has actually shifted camp. Most of them seem to be in two-term. To just that, Nyambiagi Sesa is the national chairperson of the UPA party, United Progressive Alliance for Matiang'i, led by Amos Nyaribo right now. This gentleman of late is never with Dr. Kengo Fred Matiang'i. Instead, he's supporting Simba Arati. Actually, I even saw him in a funeral giving money for Simba Arati, and nowhere he mentioned Dr. Kengo Fred Matiang'i the way he used to do, meaning things are not the same again. Ladies and gentlemen, another one is Bagaka. Bagaka is the Secretary General of the UPA party. Unfortunately, all of them were coming from Gusii region. Bagaka is the Deputy Speaker of Kisii County. This Bagaka was seriously supporting Matiang'i. Nowadays is seriously supporting Paul Simba Arati. Vindu vichenjanga. Things are not the same again. The most shocking one, it is for Amos Nyaribo, the governor of Nyamira County, the party leader of UPA, the person Matiang'i gave the party. Recently, he was being impeached. The entire scenario was made to look like Simba Arati was the savior. And Simba Arati managed to snatch him toward his side of two-term. And now as we speak today, Matiang'i does not have the governor of Kisii, neither the governor of Nyamira. I'm not so sure whether this is a game being played by these leaders. But the fact remains here, ladies and gentlemen, that Dr. Kengo Fred Matiang'i does not have those allies and that they are likely joining William Ruto. So Matiang'i needs to come up with better people to face these people at the ballot. And more especially ensure these guys have gone home, because there's no seat Matiang'i should lose in the Gusii region. If at all, he needs to command. All those seats he needs to win. I don't know what is your take, ladies and gentlemen, but with all these events that we are seeing, Simba Arati appearing to be the savior of Nyaribo, suddenly now leading the team of two-term in the Gusii region, having all the entire structure of the UPA party supporting him, also deciding to take on Ezekiel Machogu, we cannot rule out the fact that he's now trying to challenge Dr. Kengo Fred Matiang'i. That's what was happening. But in the comment section, share with me on what you think. My name is Abel Mokwa. Thank you so much for watching. See you next time for more videos.
Welcome to Humphreys Hill House. Humphreys is a boutique hotel located on Kionganyo Hill in Kisii town. We are just 2 kilometers off Kisii CBD. And the hill itself, Kionganyo, is culturally significant among Aba Gusii people. This is where our prophet Sakawa stood and prophesied that Getembe, which is Kisii town, will come up. And several other cultural activities used to happen on this hill, which included Ribina dance, where women met and danced and prayed for rains. Young men fought wars about marriage in this hill. So the hill is very significant. And therefore, in the design concept for this hotel, we have done what we call a hotel within a museum, where we have tried to collect, document, and preserve a lot of Kisii culture. So right from the gate, as you come in, you'll see pieces of soapstone, the reception in our gift shop. Each of our rooms has a piece of soapstone that explains about some cultural event or activity. You go to our common spaces, whether it's in the bar, whether it's in the restaurant, there are carvings displayed all over, which have cultural stories and those kind of things. And then at the back side of the main building, we have developed a Gusii homestead, the authentic Gusii homestead with all the traditional huts. And this is where we want culture to be experienced as it was in those days. So the buildings have been done how they were supposed to be. The activities can be carried out. There are indigenous trees there. There are free-range chicken that are running all over. And it's a nice setup if you want to hold traditional weddings and traditional activities. Then next to it, we have an amphitheater that has a capacity of around 250 people, where, again, performances, both cultural and meetings and conferences can happen. as we endeavor to support the community and preserve the culture that we so wish it doesn't disappear. All in all, you're welcome to Humphreys, and we hope you'll be able to get an experience of the Gusii culture. Thank you very much.